If your heart feels shattered and you're wondering, will I ever feel whole again? You're not alone. There are moments in life where the pain is so deep, words can't explain it. You smile for the world, but inside you're breaking. You make dua through tears, but it feels like the sky is silent. My dear brothers and sisters, listen carefully, that silence is not rejection, it's preparation. Allah is closer to you in that heartbreak than you realize. The same Allah who split the sea for Musa, who saved Yunus in the belly of the whale, who comforted the Prophet ﷺ in the cave, that same Allah sees you. Sometimes He breaks your heart not to punish you, but to empty it of what was never meant for you, so He can fill it with something better, something lasting. Don't rush the healing. Don't give up in the delay. Your heart is in the hands of Ar-Rahman, the most merciful. And He promises in the Quran, indeed, with hardship comes ease. So if you've been searching for peace, stay with me, because healing may begin with one reminder. And maybe today is the day Allah speaks directly to your heart. Allah sees your pain even when no one else does. There are times when you cry silently, not a soul notices. You walk past crowds, smile at loved ones, but your heart feels heavy. No one asks, no one sees the storm within, but Allah does. He knows what you're holding back, what you're too tired to explain. In the Quran He says, indeed, your Lord is ever watchful. That means not a tear falls from your eye, except that He knows the reason behind it, even the reasons you're not aware of yet. Sometimes the greatest pain is the kind that has no words. You're not sure what's wrong, you just know something hurts. People around you may not understand, but Allah understands emotions you haven't even verbalized. When Prophet Yaqub alas lost his son Yusuf, he didn't shout in anger. He turned to Allah and said, I only complain of my suffering and sorrow to Allah. That is worship, not weakness. When no one listens to you, don't be disheartened. When your phone stays silent and the room feels empty, it is Allah who remains near. He is As-Samir Al-Abi, the all-hearing. Sometimes He delays the people, so you turn to Him first. Sometimes He hides understanding in others, so you seek His comfort alone. And that solitude, it can be sacred if you let it. Many carry silent struggles, illnesses, heartbreak, anxiety, financial worries, and they smile so others won't worry, but behind closed doors they crumble. Allah sees that crumble. He is Al-Khabir, the all-aware. And the beauty of His mercy is that He never needs you to explain. He already knows. You just need to turn to Him and say, Ya Allah, you see my pain, help me through it. You may think you're invisible, but to Allah, you're precious. Your late night tears, your hidden efforts to be good, your fight against temptation, it's all being recorded. Allah says, and your Lord never forgets. That includes your patience when things didn't go your way. That includes the days you stayed silent instead of lashing out. It all counts with Him, even if it didn't with others. You're not weak for crying. The Prophet ﷺ cried. His companions cried. Allah praises a soft heart, not a numb one. If your heart feels deeply, it means it's alive. But instead of bottling up your emotions, direct them upwards. Tell Allah, cry in sujood. Let your tears wash away your burden, not because others notice, but because He does. Some people may judge you for being too sensitive. Others may tell you to get over it. But Allah never belittles your pain. He validates it. He heals it. He says, verily, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find rest. That peace you're searching for, it's not in people understanding you, it's in knowing Allah already does. Even when you feel like your prayers go unanswered, they don't. Allah is listening. He is responding in the way that's best for your soul. Your pain is not punishment. Sometimes it's purification. The weight you're carrying might be Allah preparing you for something greater. Something you can't yet see, but He already has written. Never measure your worth by who notices your pain. Measure it by the fact that the most merciful, the King of all kings, sees you struggling and still draws nearer. In Hadith Qudsi, Allah says, I am with my servant when he remembers me. You are never alone in your sadness. He is closer than the people sitting next to you, closer than your own heartbeat. So the next time it feels like no one understands, remind yourself, Allah does, He always has, and He always will. Trust that every tear is seen, every prayer is heard, and every silent ache is being carried by the one who loves you more than anyone else ever could. Don't give up. Your healing begins the moment you truly believe that He sees you. Brokenness is not the end, it's the beginning of healing. Sometimes life breaks you in ways you never saw coming, a loss, a betrayal, a dream that didn't survive. You look in the mirror and barely recognize the person staring back. But what if this brokenness isn't your downfall? What if it's the exact point where healing begins? In the Quran, Allah reminds us that after difficulty, there is ease, not as a sequence, but a package. The pain you feel now is not the end of your story. It's the soil where growth begins. Think of a seed. It must be buried in darkness, split open, and endure pressure before it becomes a tree. In the same way, your heartbreak, your confusion, your breakdown may be the breaking open that allows your soul to expand. Brokenness peels away illusions. It shows you who you truly are, and more importantly, who your Lord truly is. You find strength in sujood that you never looked for when things were easy. Prophet Ayyub, A.S., lost everything, health, wealth, family, yet never lost hope. And from that place of brokenness, he called out, "Indeed, adversity has touched me, and you are the most merciful of the merciful." That prayer was not from comfort, it was born in pain. And yet it was answered. Why? Because even our broken du'as reach Allah when they come from sincere hearts. Healing doesn't begin when the pain ends. It begins the moment you surrender the pain to Allah. When you say, "Ya Allah, I can't carry this alone," that's not weakness. That's wisdom. Brokenness brings you back to the one who can actually mend you. It tears you away from false dependencies and anchors you in divine reliance. That's where true healing starts. Too often we think we have to be whole to be loved by Allah. But He is not like people. He doesn't wait for perfection to show mercy. He says in the Quran, "Call upon me, I will respond to you. Not once you're better, but now as you are. Broken, tired, unsure, and still worthy of His love and attention." That is His mercy. Sometimes what breaks is the ego, not the soul. You lose what made you arrogant, what distracted you from prayer, what kept you attached to dunya. And though it hurts, it's a mercy in disguise. Because when you lose what doesn't serve your akhirah, you gain what draws you nearer to Allah. That's not a breakdown, that's a breakthrough. When your plans fall apart, know that they weren't strong enough to carry your future. When your heart feels shattered, know that perhaps it was filled with what was never meant to stay. And when you're kneeling in sujood with a heart in pieces, know that's the most honest form of worship. Healing begins when you stop pretending and start surrendering. Allah never promised a life without hardship, but He promised to be near the brokenhearted. He says, "Indeed, Allah is with the patient," not with the perfect, not with the unscarred, but with those who endure. So when you feel shattered, remember, you are in the company of divine mercy. Your brokenness is not a flaw, it is an opening. The most beautiful things in life are often born from pain, pearls from irritation, gold from fire, strong hearts from broken ones. If you're in a season of breaking, don't rush to escape it. Sit with it, pray through it, let it teach you, soften you, reshape you, and trust that Allah's working on your healing even while you're still hurting. So the next time your soul feels shattered, don't ask, "Why me?" Ask, "What is Allah building in me through this?" Because your brokenness is not the end of the road, it's the doorway into something deeper, stronger, more real. And on the other side of that door is not who you were, but who you were always meant to become whole in ways that truly matter. Allah's timing is perfect, even when the weight hurts. Sometimes we stand at the edge of our prayers, hearts heavy with hope, wondering why nothing is moving. We cry in sujood, we whisper du'as at 2 a.m., we ask again and again, and still silence. But what we call delay, Allah calls design. His clock is not ours, His view is not limited, and what feels late to us is right on time in His divine plan. You may not see it now, But every moment of waiting is a thread being woven into your greater story. Allah is not withholding out of neglect. He's preparing out of love. Sometimes the things we ask for are not ready for us, or we are not yet ready to carry them. Patience isn't passive. It's trust in motion. Every second of waiting is sacred if you know who you're waiting on. Think of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. He waited years before leading his people. Yusuf alayhi salam was thrown into a well, enslaved and imprisoned before becoming a king's advisor. Maryam A.S. carried the pain of public shame before the miracle of Isa A.S. unfolded. These weren't delays of neglect, they were divine pauses filled with purpose. In your own life, there are things you prayed for months ago that didn't happen, and today you're grateful they didn't. Why? Because Allah saw what you couldn't. He protected you from what you thought was a blessing, and He held you back so that you wouldn't step forward into harm. That is not rejection. That is mercy beyond comprehension. Sometimes the waiting period itself is what shapes us. You become more patient, more sincere, more connected to your Lord. The pain of not receiving teaches you how to receive with humility. The longing teaches you how to appreciate. So when the blessing finally comes, it doesn't own you, it humbles you. We often forget that Allah is not just watching the clock, He created it. He is not late. He is crafting something for you that will arrive when it aligns with what is best for your dunya and akhirah. So when the wait stretches longer than expected, stretch your faith to match it. Because what He's preparing is worth the time. It's easy to trust Allah when the path is lit. But the real test is trusting Him in the dark when nothing makes sense, when no signs appear, and when the du'as feel unanswered. Yet, even then, Allah is working behind the scenes, beyond what you can calculate. He is aligning hearts, arranging moments and removing obstacles silently, perfectly. The delay may be your protection from arrogance. Had the blessing come earlier, you may have thought it was all you're doing. But when it arrives after tears, humility, and brokenness, you know for sure this was from Allah alone. That realization is more valuable than the gift itself, because it transforms your heart, not just your life. Sometimes Allah withholds because what you asked for is not small, it's extraordinary. And extraordinary things take time. He's not giving you scraps. He's building something that will be worth the fall, the silence, the wait. Just like the seed that grows silently underground before it breaks the surface, your answer is preparing to bloom. Let your patience become your worship. Let the waiting deepen your dua. Allah hears every word, He sees every tear. And while you are waiting, He's not idle. He is active in the unseen, shaping your future, healing your past, and strengthening your heart to receive what is written for you. Even the pain you feel in waiting is not wasted. It refines you. It teaches you to detach from timing and attach to the one who owns it. So don't rush, don't despair. Don't think that silence means absence. Sometimes Allah delays not to test your hope, but to strengthen it. Because when the moment finally arrives, when the door opens, the prayer is answered, the weight lifts, you'll know why it had to take this long. You'll know that the wait was never a pause, it was part of the journey. And you'll whisper, Subhanallah, Allah's timing was perfect all along. Your tears are not wasted, they are du'as in disguise. When you cry in sujood and no one sees it, Allah does. Those tears that fall quietly, without words, are a language He understands better than speech. You may not know how to express your pain, but Allah hears what your heart cannot say. Your tears are not signs of weakness, they are sacred expressions of sincerity. In the Quran, Maryam A.S. cried out under the palm tree in agony and despair, and Allah responded with ease and provision. Her tears weren't ignored, they were heard, they were honored. Allah doesn't require perfect du'as, He responds to broken hearts that still turn to Him. Your tears are du'as in disguise, carried straight to His mercy. There are moments when life feels too heavy, when your chest tightens and you can't explain why, and then the tears come. That moment of vulnerability, of letting go, is a moment of surrender. And in surrender there is worship. In every tear there is a quiet submission. Ya Allah, I leave this to you. You might wipe your tears away and move on, thinking it was just emotion. But Allah doesn't dismiss those tears. The Prophet ﷺ told us, nothing afflicts a believer, not hardship, fatigue, worry, grief, or sadness, except that Allah expiates sins because of it. Even your sadness becomes a source of reward when paired with faith. Some of the most powerful du'as are made without words. They are made in silence, through sobs, through moments when your forehead touches the ground and your soul whispers what your lips cannot. In that silence, your tears become messengers, and Allah never turns away a sincere messenger. Allah says in the Quran, indeed Allah is with, explain it or justify it. That one tear you shed in the middle of the night could be the reason He opens a door for you tomorrow. Because Allah doesn't just see what's done publicly, He honors what's suffered silently. When you're wronged and you cry not out of revenge but out of hurt, Allah hears that too. When people misunderstand you, abandon you, betray you, and you silently weep, Allah sees. And every tear becomes part of your reward. Every injustice felt and released in prayer becomes fuel for divine justice. Tears soften the heart. They remind you of your humanness. They bring you back to your Lord. In the times of the Prophet ﷺ, the most beloved companions, Umar, Abu Bakr, Ali, were known to weep often, not out of weakness, but out of closeness to Allah. True strength is knowing when to cry and who to cry to. You may not see the result of those tearful du'as today, but one day you'll walk into something beautiful and your heart will know, this was the prayer I made when I was crying. That's the miracle of Allah's response. It doesn't always come quickly, but it always comes perfectly. Never feel ashamed for weeping. The Prophet ﷺ wept often at funerals, in prayer, in gratitude. His tears were part of His humanity, His humility, and He taught us that tears soften the heart and wash the soul. Your pain is not a barrier to Allah. It is often the very thing that brings you closer to Him. When no one else understands, when people say, just get over it, and you silently retreat, Allah becomes your refuge. He doesn't rush your healing. He doesn't belittle your emotion. He simply says, call upon me. I will respond to you. And sometimes that response begins with